Hey guys, welcome to Game 2 between Fishchei and MasterRey. I'm going to do a map reveal because this is Power Bond. You can see the kind of cool thing in the middle here. I'm not sure if I've shown off this map. Natural expansion, pretty wide area to kind of cover past this. I think this is unbuildable area, but there are places to kind of build things otherwise. Nearby ramps leading into an additional base, and you can kind of see just a handful of entry points. And then just a double ramp expand that is kind of blockaded. And so sometimes I feel like you'll end up... Players will take this base just because it's a little bit easier to defend comparatively. I don't know. I've seen that here and there. I haven't seen a lot of Power Bond play, but I believe I've seen that. I'm trying to remember if this is a BSL exclusive map. But point being, this is like a Tau Cross... Oops. A Tau Cross-ish map that has even more minerals on it. So it's like a Tau Cross 3-player map that can be even more macro-oriented. But also critically, like the middle of the map is just, outside of this feature right here, is just wide open. So it's like you have these kind of ramps that can lead into huge engagement points in the middle. And play from there. So map control is a big feature. I feel like it's more, I don't know, I feel like this map was initially designed to see interesting, there's that Chinese message again. It was designed to see more interesting TVP play. For PvP play, we'll have to see what we can glean out of it. Both players opening up gateway first, interior to base. It looks like MasterRey is making his way towards Fishchei's base right off the bat. Assimilator warping in for both players. So we are seeing a mirror build at least up to this stage. But the probe scout out a little bit later for MasterRey. So theoretically, a few additional minerals. Kind of curious when Blizzard's going to take care of this bug. Alongside the... There's this bug, there's the SCV bug that are still existent. I feel like Blizzard's really... Maybe everybody should just retreat to... I do want to give a shout out to Shield Battery. It is out there. And while I'm in the early stages of the game, also want to give a shout out to Gretorp, who is actually out in chat right now. He has started playing StarCraft again, the NASL extraordinary commentator, and has moved on, I believe, to poker and a handful of other games. Chess commentary here and there, I believe. Actually was pointing that out. But I'm going to call him out so we can get him back into StarCraft. He's like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you drawing me back into this game? Which is, I think, the standard Terran reaction. Zealot being produced here, by the way. It's the standard Terran reaction to being drawn, to getting out of the addiction that is StarCraft and then having that temptation. It's like the heroin addict being drawn back in. Because I feel like Terran, more than the other players, they're just rage-filled. They're fueled on rage. And something about StarCraft just provides that that relief. Anyway, Dragoon should be out here momentarily to push Fishchei's scout out. Range being upgraded. I believe that was a range upgrade before this initial Dragoon. Comparatively, MasterRey sneaking his probe back out. Fishchei sneaking his probe out as well. Although the Dragoon is in hot pursuit. Needs to be a little bit wary. And now both players free to kind of follow this up. I feel like MasterRey, as far as the default, has kind of settled for more of that 3-gate robo opener. Ooh, Dragoon needs to be a little bit careful because he's wandering into enemy territory here and might end up... Ooh. Taking an initial bit of shield damage and going ahead and backing off from there. MasterRey at least is positioning with this Dragoon and the Zealot towards the front as though he's going to take an expansion. He's going 1-gate robo. And we are seeing 2-gate robo opposite side, although the robotics facility was placed well before the robotics facility comparatively. Theoretically, if we see a support bay first from MasterRey, or sorry, from Fishchei, I think I might have had the players mixed up. And now I take it back. Now he's plopping down additional gateway, but a little bit later. So MasterRey, opting for observatory first, has got all of his stuff out a little bit faster here than Fishchei. Just macroing a little bit faster. Gateway's up sooner for MasterRey. Observatory's out sooner, etc., etc. That's not to say that that's going to cost the game. But as far as just flat build orders and as things are running, it looks like MasterRey, as far as the minimal micro advantage, is pulling ahead. Fishchei trying to sneak another scout in. Sees just 2 Zealots and the Dragoons out front. Really didn't get any information except for the fact that there's no natural expansion there as of yet. Robotic Support Bay built as a follow-up. And we do see the Robotic Support Bay, but coming out again much later for Fishchei. I'm wondering if that's because of a bit of micro that happened there. I don't know. I was talking too much and missed it. Reaver being built here from MasterRey. I believe to be defensive, though. So as soon as he has that Reaver out, he's probably going to go ahead and take his natural expansion. I don't know that Fishchei is going to feel comfortable taking his natural expansion until he has Reaver of his own. So I think as far as just like the short term, who's ahead, it's dead even. But I believe MasterRey is going to get his expansion up just a little bit earlier. And even though that probe got killed, that was a good piece of information, seeing those 5 Dragoons out on the front rather than a much larger grouping of Dragoons for MasterRey. And I take it back. MasterRey is going to follow this up with a shuttle. I thought this was going to be a defensive Reaver. Nice pickoff from MasterRey, positioning his troops forward. And this is again where it comes down to practice partners being inside each other's head. Sneaking forward, getting the probe, the observer pickoff. So now Fishchei doesn't know what he's up against. He doesn't know that MasterRey hasn't opted for a natural expansion and is instead going for more an aggressive play with that shuttle. Fishchei warping in his Nexus. He has his own Reaver. No shuttle as of yet, though. A lot of Dragoons. Now, if MasterRey, which I believe he's going to do, presses forward with this, with that shuttle, might end up taking an overall lead. Because he's going to force Fishchei to try to defend multiple locations at once. He's going to grab his Nexus now behind this. But here's the thing. MasterRey needs to get something done with the superior troop count on the ground and with that positioning. Because if he does not, he will end up being economically behind because Fishchei took that Nexus much earlier. However, with the timing of this, which is wonderful. Ooh, Observer just kind of tracing that army along that southern route. MasterRey actually just going for a forward engagement. Honestly, against equivalent attack forces. The Zealots eating some initial damage here. Big explosion on the Reaver. Does that Reaver... The Reaver gets taken out on Fishchei's side because of a lack of micromanagement before it was really able to fully engage in that match. Shield battery down. Keep in mind, this is close to reinforcement points. I believe that shield battery is going to get wiped out. Fishchei still has enough units to really defend this. There should be another Reaver out here momentarily, but it's going to have to slow walk. But at the very least, this is going to keep this Nexus silent for the short term. MasterRey needs to be careful. He might be overcommitting troops here. The Reaver coming in for reinforcements, getting a huge hit on a pileup of Dragoons. That shuttle very nearly getting picked off. Just a sliver of health left. And MasterRey is going to, well, he's going to continue with the Dragoon attack. Another huge hit. The Reaver's down. Now it's a Reaver and 4 Dragoons grouping up. So MasterRey getting a nice advantage early, picking off that Reaver, but not able to follow it up with any sort of economic halt. And as a result, Fishchei able to hold and rebalance a little bit. And get his natural expansion saturated a little bit more. However, macro-wise, things are going to reset about even. Observer from MasterRey now wandering inside the base. MasterRey going to be a little bit ahead again in the overall build order, going ahead and grabbing 2 additional gateways. We do see a shuttle being built now for Fishchei, and he's going for shuttle speed. Perhaps putting him in a counter-harass situation. I guess I should have keyed off on that there was a lack of shuttle speed upgraded from MasterRey. So it's definitely going to be more of a front assault. Fishchei just ahead with 2 probes. As far as a Reaver count, he's up 1 Reaver. But MasterRey has a superior gateway count for the time being. 2 more gateways are warping in for Fishchei. But critically, is Fishchei going to catch this Observer? Looking for him to grab that Observer. MasterRey does have the scouting information, and in a mirror matchup like this, that can be huge. And I think he did see that shuttle make its way out. Fishchei a little bit light on the Dragoon count overall. So I don't think he probably wants to keep this. If he does go for a harassment here, he's probably going to want to keep a lot of ground troops at his main, loading up one Reaver there momentarily. MasterRey macroing up. He has a supply lead, and a lot of that is in Dragoons. An initial scouting probe wandering up, getting killed. That observer finally getting taken out in the main as well. And Fishchei just going to hold currently. Now scooping up with the Dragoon. MasterRey warping in some photon cannons at the natural expansion. Keep in mind this is a 300 mineral investment that is going to keep that Reaver from being able to drop there. This observer should see it. It sees everything here, though. And I'm actually surprised that Fishchei is taking this angle and going through anyway across the top. Dropping a Dragoon there, dropping the Reaver before the cannons warp in, and getting a huge probe hit. Wiping out everything at the natural expansion, and as a result, getting a huge economic lead. Dragoons engaging here. Another probe volley, able to get a handful of additional probes there, and even more. Wow, MasterRey down to 27 probes. I don't think Ray was even looking at this expansion, thinking, you know what, I've got cannons there, I've got Dragoons there, who cares? But what this is going to provoke is an all-in counterattack from MasterRey. And this is a lot of Dragoons and 2 Reavers. Still might be able to win this through flat macro and micro as a follow-up. All of the units flooding across the map, that's a huge attack force. Cannons warping in for Fishchei on his front. He's only got a single Reaver there. Another Reaver slow walking. It's going to be a while before that shuttle is able to field in. But MasterRey is in a do-or-die situation. He needs to win it with this attack force, and if he does not, he will end up losing the match overall. Pylons there to provide some distractionary fire, kind of have that meat in the way so that the Dragoons have a little bit more trouble locking on. Reaver's being offloaded. The probe going to wander out and see the Dragoons grouped up outside of his natural expansion. Fishchei actually sneaking ahead with the supply lead, loading up some Zealots as well. If they can get on top of those Dragoons, that could be the difference. Plopping down additional gateways to solidify this lead. He's sitting at 5 gates. So basically, yes, this is MasterRey actually tacking on 2 additional gateways. So it's just going to be reinforcements across the board. I'm actually surprised that MasterRey isn't just engaging right now. Because as he delays, that's allowing Fishchei more time to get more reinforcements. Perhaps he's hoping, okay, maybe I'll just be able to contain and sneak in a 3rd base. I don't think that's the play here, though. 3 Reavers down at the natural expansion now. And more Dragoons pressing forward. Waiting for the trigger point where Ray decides to commit to this attack. Sending Observer the long way around. Perhaps actually going up to, wow, 8 gateways in the background. He's full on all in here. Kind of curious what he's waiting for. Zealot leg speed upgrading here. Fishchei. Thing is, Fishchei is grabbing additional gateways as well. I don't think he's going to be contained. One critical thing, and I'm actually going to pull back from this. Another drop while that was happening. Fishchei able to sneak in. That's going to be a dud, but he is getting some additional harassment here in the main. The Dragoons trying to chase that shuttle down. Able to get a bit of damage there. If nothing else, he's going to see these 7 gateways. The Reaver dropping on the low ground. I believe that shuttle was taken out. Fishchei really pressing this, killing additional probes. Here's the thing, though. When you have so many probes, it doesn't necessarily matter because there's only so much mining you can do out of a base. And we do have High Templar moving forward, and we do have Psystorm just finishing for MasterRey. I think that's what he was waiting for. Because Psystorm blanketing this concave area, MasterRey might be able to sneak the match out. 1 or 2 beautiful Psystorms could win him this match. Psystorm just now researching for Fishchei. Also, comparatively, level 1 weapons, about even. Zealot leg speed just now finishing for MasterRey, and he's going to have level 1 armor for this engagement. These Reavers need to be able to sneak and pick off these High Templar before they blanket Fishche's army in Psystorm. Fishchei actually might want to be the aggressor here as far as the initial engagement point. But MasterRey, knowing he lost those probes in between, is kind of like the standoff. Almost feels like the debilitried zone right here. MasterRey with a massive amount of concavity. Maybe he's just going to go for a contain. As far as a follow-up. He's like, okay, you got to come to me. Fishchei, though, nearing max supply off 2 bases. And this is just Psystorm bait. And honestly, the longer this he holds, the more energy that's storing up on these High Templar. So Fishchei with a huge supply count advantage. MasterRey, I think, with a positional advantage overall, plus Psystorm advantage. Psystorm is now online for Fishchei, but he's mostly built Archons. Starting to wander out. Reaver's on the low ground, baiting some Dragoons forward. The shuttle's been taken out alongside 1 Reaver. And Fishchei moving the Archon, eating a lot of hits, not able to get his entire army grouped up to press this. And MasterRey taking some shots at the distance. Fishchei still having trouble regathering his army. And yeah, now MasterRey saying like, okay, who cares? I can mine off 2 bases with this, and I'm still getting decent probe saturation. I'm just going to go ahead and take this 3rd base while you're contained. So who cares that you have more probes? Who cares that you were able to do that harassment? If you can't get out of your base, I will win this by starving you out. Fishchei now moving forward, trying to get some spread to the south. Archon moving forward, looking for the Psystorms for MasterRey. Unfortunately, storming a little bit narrow, now getting a good second Psystorm over those Dragoons. Morphing to Archons behind this. Fishchei, keep in mind, has a closer reinforcement point. Still beautiful Psystorms from MasterRey being a huge difference in this fight. Fishchei supply plummeting, plus he's got the concavity. Smelling blood in the water, pressing forward. A whiff of a Psystorm, a nice follow-up over the Dragoons, though. But keep in mind, that's all of the Psystorm that Fishchei had. And you have a Reaver pressing into the natural expansion with the Archons, doing all sorts of damage. And the Dragoons, yeah, just pressing forward, just piling in. Might even be able to take this natural expansion out. Shuttle's still up with the Reaver. And now it's MasterRey's turn to kill some probes. And there Fishchei calling GG. I guarantee you GG'd there. Frustrating match for Fishchei. Got some great probe kills. But MasterRey patiently just going for the contain. And again, just having a superior engagement point. That plus the nice Dragoon concavity and the beautiful Psystorms winning him that match, despite being at a supply disadvantage. Well played. So 1 game apiece. We'll move on. I think that's 1 game apiece, right? Yes. I'll double check that. We'll move into Game 3 here momentarily.